remember coming into the LZ, you were on the controls. We banked around to the left to come back in and do a 180 swing in. And as we were shooting that approach in, that's when we started hearing all that gunfire. And I don't remember what you saw at the left side because I was on the right side and everything was happening on the left.
Yeah, as we were coming into the LZ, we were kind of doing a normal approach because we didn't know what exactly was going on yet. And then it sounded like somebody lit off a whole brick of black cats, and that's when Jason, as I was looking, that's when Jason goes, "Go!" and I feel the cyclic get pushed forward, and so then it was like, "Oh, go around!" So we started to do our go around. That's when we flew maybe for like 30 seconds, and then we saw smoke get popped off to about our 11 o'clock, which was the big hill where they had all their radios set up on. That's what we decided. Okay, we're going to land there. We came around and we landed. Sergeant Brown hopped out to go find out what was going on with our communications, and
as soon as we hopped out, ran up to us, a big puff of white smoke. Talked to the guy, said, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "It's too hot. Get back. We'll call you when we're ready." I said, "How long?" "About 15 minutes." I said, "Okay." Ran back in the aircraft, jumped in, told Mr. Cross, "Hey, sir, 15 more minutes."
I decided it was my turn to fly, so I was like, "I'm taking the controls, Jay. Let me fly a little bit." So we took off out of that LZ. And just as soon as we came up and we turned right, we started taking fire from whatever town was off to our right. So we banked over to the left again, took fire from the left side, went back to the right, took fire again. And then you were like, "Why don't we go loiter over here someplace so we can stop getting shot at?" I was like, "Yeah, it's probably a good idea."
Well, so Sean came over the radio too.
That's Sean.
Yeah, Sean was talking to us, and he was loitering above us, and he was watching us jink and jive to get away from. It seemed like everywhere we turned, every town was shooting at us. And then talking to Sean over the FM, he was like, "Hey, let's go. It looks like this plateau off to the west is pretty clear." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go over there."
That's right, and we loitered over there for about 10 or 15 minutes. Still hadn't heard anything from the ground troops. So I was like, okay, let's go back to that LZ that Sergeant Brown talked to the German captain at. Went back to that LZ, landed. That's when Sergeant Brown jumped out, ran up that 432-foot tall mountain to go talk to that captain and get some comms situated.
Chewie jumped out to start providing security. That's when that little incident happened with the guy trying to walk up to the helicopter.
Yeah, he was coming for us with a purpose. I called it out to Mr. Lacrosse and Mr. Brown, and they told me to try to wave him off. He wouldn't turn around. Then they told me to start putting shots out towards him, and he kept coming after several shots. At this point, the Afghan National Police heard me engaging, and they decided to help out. So they balled the guy up. By this point, Sergeant Brown was back at the aircraft, so we all climbed in and left, this still without a patient.
So Chewie got back in the aircraft, we took back off, and I don't remember who relayed the CTAF frequency to us, if it was Tower or Sean.
It was Sean.
Sean relayed from Nelson, that's right.
I was calling you guys, and at that point, you guys were having communication issues with our flight ops guys. And so I fired up the aircraft and kind of listened into your guys' communication and relayed critical information to both Black Magic and your aircraft.
That's when you got back on the radios and you started talking to the JTAC on the ground and started talking to the close air support in the area. And that's also when we decided to once again we decided to try just staying in the area because we thought the patients would be ready any second. And we went and we were trying to loiter close by, but it was still, it seemed like every town you went over, there was people shooting at us. And that's when we had that white car come underneath us, and we went over top of them. And
he shot at us right as we flew over top of him.
That was like, I don't know about you guys, I thought that was the loudest shot I heard all day. It was right over top of that car.
Trouble is there's like 100 white cars out that day, so you couldn't just with a white car.
White cars engaging us, and it was drive your white car to work day.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we finally talked with Red Baron on the ground. They're like, "Hey, the patients are ready for pickup, but the LZ is still hot." And from the JTAC's voice, I don't remember saying it, but I guess I said, "Well, it's not too hot for us." And we went in the second time into that LZ that we tried to land at the first time, and did a faster approach this time to try to get in there a little bit quicker. And as we came in, that's when the mortars was firing off their grenade launchers, and I guess one of their grenades went across the nose of our aircraft. And then we had 2 RPGs cross underneath the tail boom as we came in. We landed, Sergeant Brown got out, went to go get the patient. Schumacher got out also and to help with that patient. We got that one patient loaded on, and then we took back off. Got back to Kunduz, dropped off that patient. That was the first one that, unfortunately, we lost. Sergeant Brown got back in the aircraft, and with black magic, we took back off to go get that second patient at that same LZ again. And as we came back in, obviously, again, taking fire, we landed. And this is the time that Sergeant Schumacher was on my right side, and I looked over in that tree line and could see personnel in that tree line. I was like, hey, Sergeant Schumacher, is that personnel in that tree line? He's like, yeah, I see personnel. Well, they're engaging us. No, they're like 300 meters away. I'm like, I don't think so. Rounds bouncing by his feet, and called black magic. It's like, hey, we're getting engaged by the tree line off to our right. They're about 70 meters away. And Sean's crew came in, did that awesome little decel.
Yeah,
and,
floated there for a second.
Floated there for a second. Sergeant Ebel suppressed the enemy in the tree line for us.
Effectively suppressed.
Very effectively suppressed the enemy in the tree line. We got the other patient on board while this was going on, took back off and got back to the Kunduz PRT. And this is the time, back en route the second time, is when we got the call about the IED blast and the dingo. And we had 4 more urgent patients.